I love you. Hey, welcome back to the Couch Potatoes. I am the Green Traveler from Gorsh.
Yeah, and he's a traveling man.
Traveling salesman.
I can't rhyme today. Usually it's easier for me to come up with rhymes on the spot. Maybe I won't try that again on the podcast, though. I'm embarrassed.
It's only because it's late. It's dark out.
It is dark out.
We're getting tired. We drank some tea.
I also am just tired. They've been working us a lot.
Oh, yeah. Out in the mines.
Out in the mines. Out in them theater mines. You know, when you dig up theater ore, you don't... Well, rather, when you're an audience member, you don't think about the process from mining the ore to hammering them out into sets.
That's very...
and inflating the actors.
I like your use of metaphor and of your message and everything, because that's what we're talking about today.
Symbology. Yes,
we're talking one of my all-time favorite movies, and a movie I didn't know existed.
Yeah, same here. I found out I don't remember how I found it out.
I own 2010, the year we make contact.
You
the book.
Do? Oh, the book. Okay. Did you know that it was a sequel?
I did not know it was. I knew it was a sequel because it's by Arthur C. Clarke,
who wrote the novel.
Who wrote the novel and the first movie in 2001: A Space Odyssey. And I love 2001: A Space Odyssey. I bought the book when I found it. I have not read it. I bought the sequel when I saw that, and I was like, "That's hilarious."
Did Kubrick collaborate on the novel as well?
I doubt it.
Okay.
I think it was all...
But I do know that they planned it at the same time.
Yeah. At the same... They were doing 2001, and then I think Arthur C. Clarke's like, I can make a book out of this, too. Nice. So he's just like, I'm going to write a book. That's how Arthur C. Clarke sounds. Stanley!
We will rule both literature and the silver screen.
Stanley's like, I don't care.
I like how Arthur C. Clarke was the Penguin and Stanley Kubrick was Solomon Grundy.
Yeah, I'm very excited. A long time ago, when I used to do my movie critiques as a blog, it's sadly going away. I'm about to lose the website because they want me to sign up for something new, and I don't want to. And so I'm about to lose all that content. And I've been reading back through them. There's some of them that are really good. Some of them are just like, you could tell I wasn't trying. So yeah. It's really nice though, because it's like, I've been like, oh yeah, I remember when I watched that movie. It's like, oh wow, I really shat on that one. It was really good. Some of it was really good writing, and I was really proud. But one of the things I did, way back, I can't remember how long ago it was, but it was like, probably not like right before the pandemic. I can't remember when. But I think it was something that, like, I can't go to the theaters anymore. Right. I got to fill in the gap. I got to write. And it was a, my top 20 favorite films kind of thing.
Okay. Cool.
And I couldn't find that one. I was trying to find it when I was rereading through them. And I just don't know when I did it, where it was. But in it, I know 2001: A Space Odyssey was in the top 20. But I hadn't put it that high. And I remembered, like, the first two times, because this is the fourth time I've watched this. I remember the first two times I watched it, I was just overwhelmed by the spectacle.
Sure.
The third time I was trying to figure out my own interpretation.
Uh-huh.
And this time, rewatching it with that interpretation, it's my favorite movie of all time. Like, no fucking joke. I loved it. This movie is poetry.
It's a good fucking movie.
It's poetry on screen.
Uh-huh.
It really is.
I believe you.
I know it's silly. It sounds silly.
No. It's okay. You're in love.
I'm in love. I really do love 2001: Space Odyssey because it's very sparse dialogue, very beautiful classical music, like the spaceships, the satellites, and everything up in space, just like moving about to classical music. It's like a dance. It really is. And I'm just like, oh, this is so... Every shot literally is like perfectly framed. Like Stanley put so much thought into everything. The scope of all this is so cool.
Right up front, I'm going to say, I agree with you. I love this movie. However, there are some things I dislike about the movie. Like, for one, there is like hardly any diversity that I can think of.
That is true.
There's
like 2 females.
Yeah, and there's like 2 females,
And
which that's fine. It's a
both,
small
like,
cast. Yeah, that's true. And one
Servers.
is somebody's wife, but I think they're like a lady though too,
Yeah,
or
that's right.
something like
Yeah.
that. Which in this version of 2001, we have colonies, and I'm going to let you do most of the movie. We have colonies and stuff on the moon, maybe Mars too. I'm not sure. That seems
Maybe, I'm
logical
not sure.
in this the way they interpret what's going on with the technology. But however, oligarchy and aristocracy is still for real.
It's true.
And it's probably how it will be. And anyhow, so
But yeah, it is lacking in diversity.
it
which
is lacking in diversity.
Yeah.
But the second thing is, in a movie where everything is just so important,
Yes.
some of the dialogue in the latter part of the movie, I agree with how you talk about it, but in those scenes before we get to the Jupiter mission, whatever it is called, Discovery,
Right. Yeah.
that shit is bland as hell. And I know,
Like, so, like, the I can't remember the guy's name.
he's some kind of
Haywood
frontman
Floyd.
for the government.
Haywood Floyd, when
Yeah.
he goes up there.
Yeah,
right?
he goes up to a station. I like the call with his kid.
Mhm.
Like I like where it ends up, but I feel like a lot of the build in those scenes, it's so easy to forget about because he's having such day-to-day conversations.
Right. But the thing is like, in those day-to-day conversations is when you get the
That's
plot.
where you get the latter.
Yeah, it's
in
and
the
I can
latter
agree.
part of the scene,
Yeah.
I agree.
I can agree.
Yes,
The
where it
first 2
culminates to.
times I was taken by the spectacle. I didn't understand what
Right.
was going on at all.
Right.
And a lot of it's because the dialogue is so bland. Like, it's so sparse. It's just like, it's like Stanley knew it wasn't the point of the film. And he's like, I want to tell this whole film with images.
Yeah,
And-
I mean,
and-
it's a beautiful film.
Yeah.
It's true.
But I agree with you that the dialogue is, and especially in that part, is pretty forgettable. Like when he's just talking to the people and he's just like, this is what we're going,
That's
this
a
is...
nice day today, isn't it? On the space station, that's probably always the same.
But in that one, he's talking with the Russians and they're trying to figure out what the Americans have uncovered.
Right.
And so they're covering up their day-to-day conversation with implications of like,
Yeah.
what exactly is going on at Tycho? It's like, what is it?
And that is
Is
interesting.
there a virus? And it's just like, what they cover it up with all the boring day-to-day dialogue.
Yeah.
And like, it all went over my head the first 2 times I watched it because I did not understand what they were talking about at all because it was just day-to-day casual conversation. I agree with you.
And maybe on my fourth watch, because I'm pretty sure this is only my third, I will find that part more interesting because this probably is the first time I really took notice of that dialogue.
Right.
Because I have seen it a number of times before.
And even the dialogue with his kid, too, just feels stale because, the kid's not acting with him.
Yeah.
The kid's acting with somebody else because it was filmed completely different
Right.
area. And, like, her reaction to his dialogue is kind of just like, well, that seems like a weird way to respond to your father.
Right.
And then he seems like very, like, disinterested.
Right. They do seem to play with the lag, though.
That is
And I
true,
like
yeah.
that.
That was nice. But you don't even get dialogue for literally 25 minutes in this movie.
Is it that long?
Yeah, I wrote
I thought
nobody
it was
speaks.
12.
I wrote it down. Nobody speaks until minute 23.
Holy shit.
Because for the
You get
first,
humans
That's-
before that, right?
just before, the first dialogue is like in that scene, I think, where he's talking to those guys.
I think you're right.
And like, cause, or maybe him and an attendant, maybe. But, the first 23 minutes, you have hominins. You have like the evolution, like one of the pre-evolutions of humans.
Yeah.
It's an ape-like version. Still very, you can see the human in it though.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously it's just an ape suit.
human in the ape suit.
Yeah, obviously it's just a human in an ape suit. But what I mean, like the design of it,
yeah,
they look pretty close to like an ape still, but just about to become more humanish.
They're the Squatch.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I mean, it's fun because you and then, like, I know a lot of people who come to this movie who don't like artsy fartsy stuff are gonna get bored immediately and hate this because it's like,
But
oh
you're
my
wrong.
gosh, it's just
Stick
you know,
it
yeah.
out.
And it's a group of them, and they're it's like a little tribe, I'll call them, of these little hominins, and
Are they hominids?
hominins.
Okay, because I thought hominins. Okay, I see. So
Tribe of hominins.
Okay, so if spelled differently, I think that's what. No, I'm thinking of homophones.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, you have a tribe of them who get kind of like rushed out of their homeland by another group of hominins, and then you like see them like struggling to survive, and like they're trying to live, they're trying to feed, get attacked by other predators like big cats and shit like that, and then all of a sudden they wake up one day and there's this giant fucking monolith. Like a big black slab of who knows fucking what.
Right.
Just in the middle, and there's this creepy freaking chorus singing. Like, I love that. The choir singing in the back is like really... I don't know what...
These actors
song that
have
is.
a lot of fun doing
Yeah.
the hominin dance.
Yeah, he's just like the crazy... He's like, what the fuck? and one of them, not too long after they spot the monolith, one of them... is amongst a bunch of dead, skeletons, skeletal ruins, and he's just looking about. I say he, who knows? It might be a she. They're just looking about, and they're just like looking at all the bones cast about, and then they get a glimpse of the monolith, like in the sunlight, and it just awakens in them this new idea. I can use these bones as a weapon, or as a tool, rather.
As a tool. Yeah, which I thought was kind of honestly, I don't. That's another part I don't like because chimpanzees and other apes use plenty of tools.
But I mean, I know, but like that's the point of it is that it got the idea from the monolith.
Sure.
The monolith guided evolution.
All apes then got it from the monolith.
Maybe. All I'm saying is for this story's purpose. I don't care about historical accuracy.
Sure.
That's another thing about this movie. I'm tossing all historical accuracy out the fucking window.
Of course, it's based in 2001.
Yeah, exactly. For the story's purpose, the monolith guided the evolution.
Sure.
And I love that. I think that, like, I didn't understand that the first few times because it's just like, literally you're just seeing an ape looking at bones, then there's a flash of the monolith, and then it picks up a bone and starts just bashing about like crazy, having a good fucking time.
Having a good time.
Yeah.
So the monolith gave it murder.
Yeah, well, I mean, kind of. I mean, there's a lot of... This whole movie is up for interpretation, and a lot of people say that it's the destruction of humankind by this alien species. This alien species, like, keep evolving and you'll just keep hurting yourself. I'm of the opinion...
that's silly.
I disagree. I think it's of the opinion that it's like... From my perspective watching it, and I can be completely wrong. Kubrick never came out and explained what his thoughts were.
Right.
Arthur C. Clarke probably has. Who knows? He wrote novels about it.
I haven't read the books.
Yeah, so I haven't either. The books are more clear. There are more.
I'm sure it's more spelled out.
But like, I think that it was trying to tell them you can use this as a tool, and then they used it as weapons. And it's very similar to, like, at the very end, which I'll get to later, where it's trying to
In 2010, you mean?
No, in 2001. In 2001 itself, when it's trying to, like, hey, here's another, like, thing, and then they use it against themselves. But I'll get to that soon. But the hominins, they then gather a bunch of bones. They go back to their home. They beat the fuck out of the tribe that kicked them out of their home turf.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that part.
And then you have the greatest transition in cinema history where it, like, in the victory, one of the hominins throws up the bone.
Right.
And we follow it spiraling up. A couple cuts here and there, but who cares? It's spiraling up. And then as it starts to fall, you transition to a spaceship in 2001 that looked not like the bone, but
Right.
is similar enough that you understand like what they're saying, which is that's our new tools that we're using now.
Yeah.
We used bone tools back in the day. Now we're using this like mechanical shit up in space, and we could fly, and it's so
Right.
cool. The only problem is we've discovered another monolith. It's on the moon. It was buried there on the moon.
You know what I feel like is more what the monolith gave the hominins?
What's that?
I think it is organization.
Maybe.
I think that's what it gave. I know that there's the theatrical moment where he picks up the
bone.
The bone.
Yeah.
I think it's a hip bone.
A femur.
It's a femur, maybe. I don't know. What is anatomy?
This is the big. I think it picks up a femur, which is
I
the
think
big
so.
leg
The
bone.
big one. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Which it looks like a human femur too.
Right.
But anyhow, a hominin femur.
Yeah.
He's swinging it, and I think in that moment he's also thinking about what he can do to get his ancestral or whatever
His home
back.
Yeah. It's like if we all pick up bones.
It's like
we'll
we
be
can do this.
unstoppable.
We could kill them all.
I mean, that's totally fair.
Yeah.
I only think tools because then after that it becomes once they discover the monolith on the moon, the Americans are trying to hide it because they don't, just like mysterious alien thing. What the fuck is this? We don't want to let the rest of the world know about this. And so that's what Haywood Floyd goes up there for, is like to investigate, see what's going on. And while they're investigating it, it sends out an electronic pulse to Jupiter, like a signal or something. And so the humans are like, or the Americans specifically are like, we need to go to Jupiter to figure out what it just shot a signal at. Yeah. And when they go up there, the problem is everything is being operated by their latest tool, their latest technology, which is HAL.
Yeah.
HAL 9000. And the problem is we fucked ourselves. And I'm really happy because my theory of why HAL malfunctions is in the sequel.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
That was like the only answer the sequel gave us that I was like, I agree with that. I agree with that completely. To go ahead and spoil that, my theory, which if you take the sequel as canon turns out to be true, is that HAL was just giving conflicting orders.
Yeah.
He was told, you getting to Jupiter and figuring out what it was shooting that signal at is of the utmost importance to our mission. However, you can't tell Doctors David Bowman and Dr. Frank Poole what the mission is. They're only there to like get the ship to Jupiter, but they're not allowed to be let in on any of the stuff. And it just decided after a while, HAL discovered it's easier for me if I just kill the crew.
Yeah,
so I could just get to Jupiter. And then I no longer have conflicting orders and I can just get the mission done.
Yeah.
And that's what HAL ends up doing, is like he starts to slightly go, malfunction a little bit.
Yeah.
I love HAL. HAL is like one of my favorite cinema villains, voiced by Douglas Rain. So good. So like emotionless, but at the same time there's just like a tiny flare that you can get hints of like intelligence.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's so disturbing.
Like it.
And poor David Bowman, played by Keir Dullea, has to like I like his acting with HAL. Because it's very
really
good.
like that.
Yeah.
That's the best part of the movie when it's just the two of them.
Yeah, because
really it's just Keir Dullea.
It's like a completely different movie.
The voice acting's also great, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's a completely the last act of the movie is a completely different. I don't even know if I'll call it the last act. Yeah, because after what happens.
Yeah, I mean, you have the beginning with the
whole lot of
hominins.
movies still.
You have the portion with Haywood Floyd, and then you have them going to Jupiter.
Right.
And then after that, you have the craziness. The I think it's called what is it? It's like Jupiter and Beyond the Infinite or something like that. Yeah. Because when he there's a lot of shit that goes down with HAL. And I won't spoil it because that's honestly is the best part of the movie.
Probably have the name of the acts on this page.
Maybe they do.
Oh,
I don't want to get lost in it.
They don't.
But it's phenomenal, and I don't want to like spoil that act that we're talking with HAL,
right?
Because that is, as we said, the best part of in my opinion, of the movie.
Yeah, it is.
And
it's the part where a newcomer to the film is going to be the most engaged.
Right, and the part that leaves everybody either frustrated or feeling like they just tripped balls is the final act.
Yeah, the final act is a trip.
Because David Bowman, Keir Dullea, he gets to Jupiter. He gets to where the signal was sent. Mm-hmm. There is a bigger monolith floating in space, and he touches it. He goes out. Like, the movie doesn't even show him going out. He's still in the ship, I think. Like, he's just floating near it, and then all of a sudden he's just like pulled in, kind of thing, and like going, crazy trippy scenes. You see negative color worlds, like probably antimatter. Who knows?
Who the fuck
but like
knows?
If you watch the movie and you are tripping at the time, or like smoked a little weed, or maybe you're a little drunk or something, that, in my opinion, that's a beautiful moment. That whole scene. Because there are moments, all the galaxies, like all the little star clusters and everything that you see by the gaseous clouds, they look like living fucking things.
Yeah.
Like there's moments in each scene where you could be like, those are eyes. And it's probably just stars. That's all it is stars with galaxies around them. But it really did look like a Lovecraftian, like, cosmic god.
Yeah, I kept on feeling like there was going to be some crazy creature, which there was.
Yeah.
I started thinking of 2010.
Yeah, exactly.
It's hard, man. There are
not for me.
I feel like some of what happens in that film.
Right.
I feel like, okay, that's adding some sense to it. I get it. Mm-hmm. Who knows? Maybe it's loyal to the book I haven't read. Maybe.
I mean, my problem, and we'll get more into it when we talk 2010, my problem is, like, it just offers answers where they're not needed. Mm. Because the whole point of 2001, and Kubrick's been very, he was very forthright about it, is that it's like, it's up to your interpretation.
Yeah.
You watch it, you decide. And most people are like, well, I don't fucking understand it. It's like, well, you don't want to try to look into it.
And that's why somebody wanted a sequel, I'm sure.
Yeah, because someone was just like, this is stupid. It's like, I don't want to think when I watch movies.
Yeah. I need a backup to this movie.
Yeah, it's like, the people who do that are like the people who go to, like, art museums and they just, like, see something and just like, yeah, pretty picture. And it's just like, all right, there's so much more to it than that, It's like, you gotta look into the art.
Oh, I see. You're saying it's a really pretty picture.
It's a really pretty picture. I got it now. But hello, Zelda. But that's, I mean, I don't know. Like, when he touches the monolith and he's like going beyond the infinite, he then just to spoil it, because to get back to my like point of what I think the monolith's trying to teach us. But like, it's a really trippy and like kind of creepy scene, because when he stops moving, he's in this like futuristic time. And he sees an older version of himself. And then he just is that older version.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then that older version is just like, whoa, what happened? And he like turns around, goes about to do what he was normally going to do, because he doesn't remember that he, as a younger version, just saw himself. And he sees another older version of himself. And then he is that. And he just keeps aging like that. And it's pretty kind of creepy. Like,
it is.
Thinking about it, I'd be like, oh my God, that's so fucking like, no, I don't want to live my life like that. But that is how we are living already.
It's like his life became non-linear.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's like the Slaughterhouse-5 guy.
Oh, wow. I haven't thought about the plot of that for a while.
I love Slaughterhouse-5. It's like my favorite novel. Maybe that's it. Maybe my favorites are just people disjointed in time. Maybe that's all I love.
Yeah, I'll have to read that one again.
Yeah, it's so good.
Actually, I think maybe I didn't read that one. I've read other... Man, why can't I think of...
Kurt
Vonnegut.
Yeah.
But maybe I haven't read that one.
Indiana Boy.
But somebody explained the plot to me so thoroughly.
Yeah.
In middle school that I felt like I read it.
It's a beautiful book. I absolutely love it. But like that's what's going on with Floyd, or with David Bowman, Keir Dullea.
Right.
Is he's disjointed. He's like seeing older versions and then just becoming them where they are. Like he just becomes what he's seeing, and then all of a sudden, he's just a baby in space.
A big baby in space.
That's the thing, is I always thought it was a big baby. I always thought it was a baby the size of the Earth. And maybe it is in the books and everything, but when I watched it this time around, I thought of it just as a perspective. And then for me, I was just like, okay, he's just back to he's discovered, he's evolved into whatever this is, and he's going to bring that back to humanity.
Right.
It's like I'm seeing it from an uplifting viewpoint. Because it's like I'm seeing it that the monoliths are trying to help us evolve. They're like some kind of alien creature that has found their revolution, and they're trying to push us there.
Yeah.
And when they tried the first time, we turned against ourselves and killed each other. And then this time it's a little more hopeful. This time it's an innocent baby who's coming back to bring us knowledge. That's how I see this movie. Is like, it's like when that ending happens, I'm just like, they're pushing us. They're pushing us to be better. Right. And who knows? Maybe a lot of people don't think that. A lot of people think the baby means the death of humanity. Like literally, there's a lot of people who are just like that. Baby comes back and destroys up all the nukes and blows up Earth.
I will say though that 2010 does not detract from what you say about it. That just what you say about that specifically, because it's still very hopeful in the end, I think. I took it as that way, and maybe that's just how I interpreted that art movie.
That's fair.
It's actually very much not an art movie, and we'll get to it soon.
That's true. I felt like it does kind of have like a mildly hopeful tone, the ending of 2010, but it felt very weird because it's like this is my world. You can conquer the rest of the world, but you leave this fuck alone.
Okay, well, I'll talk about it more when we talk about 2010. Why I think it's more hopeful than that.
That's fair.
Let's do some closing statements.
I mean, you know where I stand. I fucking love it. As I said, like watching it this time, I definitely came away thinking like, this is my favorite movie, and I can't wait to watch it again. And I don't know why I haven't felt that with the other 3 times. I've loved it the other 3 times, but it's just been a spectacle. Yeah. And then watching it this time, I was just like, this is poetry. Right. I don't know why it felt that like different this time around, but like, and I watched it in 3 different segments because it's a long movie. It's 2 hours, 20 minutes. And I had to like kind of shoehorn it into my schedule, which normally I wouldn't do. But normally when I come to like try to force myself to watch something, anything, TV or movie or whatever, I kind of dread it. Right. And I put it off as long as I can. I don't know why my brain's like that, but that's how it is. I was excited every time to come back to this movie because I was like, I can't wait until I could watch the next 40 minutes. 40
minutes of space on. That's like if they showed it in 3 sections on TV or something.
And it does have an intermission too, which is hilarious. Right. And I like the soundtrack.
That's where we stopped it at when we watched it. We're like, hey, it's at an intermission. Why not we take a break?
It's kind of funny too because it's like 2 hours 20 minutes and the intermission is like an hour and 30 in, so you only have like 50 minutes left. Yes, so it's not a good middle point, but
I think story wise it works.
It really is. But I fucking love it. Hal's the best. I love Hal as a villain. Like, it's just there's so much gold in this movie. 4 stars easily. If I could give it more, I would, but that's not how my scale works.
That's fair. I give it a face and a half because I can give a half a face if I want to. Aha.
Your system's better.
That's not true. But it makes it in the club. It's an exclusive club of face and a half movies. If there's 2 face movies out there, we'll see. But see, the thing about that is it just sounds it sounds negative. So I don't want to call them that. So face and a half. It's a face and a half.
Batman Forever is a 2-face movie.
Shut up. So we should take a soda pop break.
Before we do that, another thing that I did want to mention is the space travel and everything in 2001 is fucking like accurate. Yeah. And it's like there's a hilarious conspiracy. There's a lot of conspiracies about this movie. But one of them is that he only made 2001 Space Odyssey to make people believe that the moon landing was actually real. Like, they filmed the moon landing. Well, if you dig further into that conspiracy, it's Stanley Kubrick filmed the moon landing, and 2001 was just to get the budget to do so realistically and make everybody believe that it happened. Those are the people who believe we didn't make it to the moon, was that 2001 was just for that reason.
Oh my god.
And one of their arguing points is that because that movie makes no sense, it's just ridiculous, trippy nonsense. I'm just like, alright, you guys just didn't watch the film. I understand now. But yeah, it's really I love the space flight because you really do kind of feel like you're in space, and it's fucking 1968.
Yeah,
and like
I think though that it does kind of have a taste of the counterculture in it. In that last act specifically.
Yeah.
And probably with what Kubrick was trying to say. And there was a lot of people that were very conformist.
Yeah, against that shit.
Yeah.
We don't want art.
All right, let's do less art.
No art in our art, please.
No art in our art, please. I want to fart in my art.
I want to just look at a picture and think it's pretty. I don't want to look at a picture and try to figure out the microcosm versus the macrocosm. I just want to say Mona Lisa smiles. There has to be more to it.
She definitely frowns, man. Let's get a soda pop in us.
Indeed.
And we'll be right back.
I love you. You want me to baby bird it in there?
Yes, please. I was thinking I would want something with flavor, so that would work.
Do I drink piss? Yes, Sonny, yes I do. Are we back for another surprising cast? I think we are.
Yes.
Sequel and smash.
Yeah, we're done. We're ready to talk about 2010, the year we made Contact.
Not only did I not know this film existed, I knew the book existed. I did not know they made a movie off of it, but I didn't know it had this fucking cast.
Yes, yes. I love the cast in this.
I do too.
I have no idea how I've never seen this movie. Probably because it isn't really a sequel to 2001, even though all of the subject matter is the same.
It literally is. If you want it to be, it is. If you don't want it to be, it doesn't have to be. It's like that weird. I know people don't really. There's a lot of people who are just like, just because the sequel comes out doesn't mean it ruins the original. I hear that all the time where it's like somebody complains about a sequel because it's like, why do they do this? And it's not wrong, but at the same time, it does kind of taint the original experience.
Sure.
And like, case in point, Harry Potter. I love Harry Potter. Before J.K. Rowling was a TERF, like once she starts saying all those transphobic things, it's kind of hard to reread and rewatch Harry Potter because it's like all I can think of is that negativity. Yeah. So it's like there is a point where adding to something can taint the original experience of it. That it is totally possible. I'm tired of hearing people say that it's like, just because you hate the sequel doesn't mean the original is still bad. No, it could totally mean that. It does have the potential to ruin the original.
It does.
Especially if the original leaves off begging for more. Like if it leads, like, there's more to this story.
Part 1?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Whereas with 2001, that movie left off not at all begging for a sequel. It had a lot of answers left, or a lot of questions left unanswered.
Unquestioned.
Exactly. But at the same time, it's all the material is there for you to fill in that yourself. And 2010 feels like it really does feel like hey man, who's the director, writer, editor, cinematographer? Peter Hyams. This dude did everything. He produced it, he wrote it, he directed it, he did the cinematography. We already
said that the novel was also Arthur C. Clarke.
I was about to say he edited it too, but he did not edit it. It really did feel like it.
It's definitely not the same feeling that you get from 2001.
It really does feel like he was just like, these are my answers.
Yeah.
You can agree with them if you want. Otherwise, it's not going to ruin the original because it's its own thing.
Yes, it is its own thing. And I think my watch of it benefited from that. I think at the time, if people were... I don't know what the reception on this was. But I think at the time, if it wasn't received well, and that's why it didn't survive as a classic, it is because it is so different from the original.
Yeah.
But also, I feel like if we didn't have that original and this movie came out, because all the information you need for this movie is in this movie.
Right.
Which is another thing I really like about the movie.
Yeah.
I feel like people would really like this movie.
Yeah.
If that first movie had never existed. So if that's if that's something that somebody has a problem with this movie, I think that it's not fair.
I think there are certain elements that would be confusing. Specifically, they do bring back Keir Dullea as Dave Bowman, as well as the Douglas Rain as the voice of Hal.
Yes.
So like those are the things I think would be a little confusing, is those direct ties. That whole Discovery mission, I don't think people would understand exactly what it was for.
Right. I think. Well, see, there's that thing at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
Like they do. It's a bit of text of information, sure,
Right.
but they also have like pictures of
That's true.
the crew and Hal and everything.
They do set it up enough.
They do set it
you're
up.
right.
You get all the information that you need, and if those weren't clips from another movie, I don't think anybody would have a problem with this.
That's
movie.
fair.
I think it's a perfectly good movie.
That's totally true. Like it definitely does do a really good job at being its own thing.
Yeah.
And I think specifically how it does that is by immediately having a shit ton of dialogue.
Yeah, it does have a lot of dialogue.
and a crazy big cast. Like, I don't know how big, in 1968, I don't know how big Keir Dullea or the other guys, like all those actors were. I have never seen them in anything else to my knowledge.
Not that I can tell you.
Yeah.
That's for damn sure.
They're not names that are very iconic to me. I know they've been in other stuff. I've probably seen them in other stuff, maybe even other Stanley Kubrick films, because I feel like the Haywood Floyd was in Dr. Strangelove.
Maybe.
He seems familiar.
Yeah, which I didn't know was Kubrick until a few moments ago.
Yeah, that's another one of my favorite.
We should do that one sometime.
It's so crazy. But this one has just big names out the fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Like,
starring Haywood Floyd.
Yeah, different actor as Haywood Floyd, and a big one at that.
Yes.
One I did not know was in other movies besides Jaws.
Roy Applescheider.
So stupid.
Yeah,
I love it.
So he is the doctor who sent David Bowman and his crew and all the scientists that died in hibernation.
Right.
He's the one who billed the mission, and he got kicked out of his job for it.
Right. And I feel like that was also like because he's still working there too. Like he goes there to do research.
He's a teacher now, I think.
There, yeah.
Oh, there. Okay.
So it kind of just like maybe he's a teacher at like a school, but like he still has a lab there because he goes there to do research.
Oh,
so I was just like, oh, it's kind of one of those like they dusted him under the rug, but like they're like, we won't really fire you, but on paper we're gonna fire you, just so you know. 7 people died.
Yeah. The whole world hates you right now.
Not really your fault, though.
Yeah, not at all. Really not his fault at all. Well, I don't know. Somebody told Hal to do it. Yes. I want to bring that up later.
Okay.
Well,
it's
at the beginning, though, actually. So I'll go right to it. So this Russian guy does convince Roy, being Haywood, excuse me, that they gotta go back up there.
Yeah.
The Russians are gonna do it anyways.
The Russians are gonna do it first too.
They're gonna do it first too. They're much closer than the Americans
are. A year in advance. And there's a big catapult too to or not catapult, but he's just like catalyst maybe, where he's just like, you guys won't have a rocket for a year, but I don't know if you check the orbit of the moons of Jupiter, but
it's the perfect time.
No, the orbit of the Discovery. That was it.
Right.
Yeah, the Discovery is going to collide with something in 5 months. He's like, you guys don't have the time to wait.
It's going to lose its orbit and I think go towards the sun.
Go towards Jupiter, maybe.
Jupiter, maybe. Yeah. So he convinces him that they need to do it as a joint effort because the Americans have way more information than the Russians do about Discovery.
And it's their ship, too.
It's also their ship.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of ways that it made it easy for Floyd to convince whatever government agency. I don't fucking know.
The president himself.
Who the fuck cares? That the mission needed to go ahead. And so they he is at his last meeting with his family.
Yeah.
Madeline Smith playing his wife, Carolyn Floyd, and Christopher Floyd, his son, is played by Taliesin Jaffe.
Dude, I did not know that until
he gets to feed dolphins.
I didn't know that was him. I kind of like want to look at, like, just probably watch the YouTube video again. But like, man, that's crazy.
Yeah, I saw his name up in the credits. Like, so they did the credits, and for some reason, all of a sudden they had a page with a whole bunch of actors on it. It said also starring. Old school, slides out with the larger cast. And Taliesin Jaffe's name was at the top. And I was like, what? I didn't even read the rest of the names. Because I was like... But I knew he would be a little kid and that he was at one time a child star. So
yeah. I thought maybe that was why you wanted to watch this, because there was a moment where you're like, did you know this movie existed? And I was like, no, I had no idea. I don't want to do this.
Know how I found out that the movie existed.
So
I
cool.
think I wanted to Google something about 2001 or something.
Yeah.
And then that movie slide was next to it on Google.
That's fair.
Yeah, that might have been what happened. But I also do think that somebody in our past had referenced this movie.
Maybe.
And then been like, yeah, there totally is a sequel to 2001. I'm like, I don't believe it.
Doesn't
this specific person will take root in your heart and make you angry.
I understand.
So
yeah, he convinces well, after Floyd has his meeting with the family, he's like, I'm going on this trip. He's like,
right.
And in similar fashion to Armageddon, they bring the least qualified people up there.
Yes.
Instead of astronauts. Yeah.
An engineer named Walter Kurnow, played by John Lithgow.
Oh my God, it was so hilarious.
Yeah.
And not only just an engineer, but the very one who designed
the Discovery. That's right. And also a different kind of engineer, a computer engineer, R. Chandra.
Yes, played by Bob Balaban, who we just talked about in another movie. I can't remember.
Yeah, we did, but I don't. Yeah,
but like he's in a lot of Wes Anderson films.
It was I wanted to say Science. It was in Encounters of the Third
Close
Kind.
Encounter. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because he was doing his best Richard Dreyfuss impersonation from Jaws. That's right. Dude, I love Bob Balaban, so it's really funny that, like, not only did we just talk about him in Close Encounters, we also just talked about Roy Scheider in Jaws.
Right.
Like, people that, I've known them for other niche performances, and I'm just like, man, you're in so much other stuff. It's like you're an actor or something. It's so cool.
Man, it's so much.
Wow. But Chandra is the specifically the designer of HAL.
Of HAL.
Yes. And they want him to go up there so he can fix HAL.
And this movie also has Sal 9000 in it.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Sal.
Yeah, Sal is like the Office version of HAL, I would say. Or, it is the 9000 model. Maybe there was who played it?
It's
the Bowen.
Candice Bergen was the voice of Sal, but she was credited as Olga Malsner. Olga Malsner.
That is probably this person's real name.
Olga. I love the name Olga, but Malsner is just funny.
Malsner is pretty funny.
He's the nerd of the mall. He's the Mal's nerd.
I'm the Mal's nerd. You didn't see, but I pushed up my glasses. In the center.
But yeah, Floyd, with those two engineers, goes to Jupiter, specifically to Discovery.
That's right, with the Russians.
One of whom is hilariously played by Helen Mirren.
Hilariously played? I thought she was pretty good.
She Honestly, was good, but
I remember you telling me that she was in this movie, and so I was looking out, and I still didn't recognize her.
Because I saw her name, and I was like, Helen Mirren's in this?
Yeah.
And then, like, she appears as a Russian. I was like, she wouldn't have played a Russian. And I'm just like, That looks like Helen Mirren, but she wouldn't play a Russian. She is good in it. I will
really
say.
good. I had no idea.
It's hilarious because she's not a Russian. So I'm just like, it's another one of those tropes where it's just like, we're gonna, instead of getting a Russian actor, we're gonna get an English person to play a Russian actor.
Yes, that's true.
And then the accent always goes away every now and then, where you're just like, there it is.
So it literally took me the whole movie, honestly, until the credits again, and I was like, wait a minute, I knew Helen Mirren was the lead of the fucking
Did you
Russians.
recognize the other guy? I did recognize this one. I think it was Dimitri.
I didn't actually.
Hold on, I gotta find the guy. Nope, that's a woman. Who is the?
It might be that guy.
Who is this guy?
Vladimir. It might have been
the one who befriends John Lithgow. Did you recognize him?
Oh yes, it was. I didn't recognize him, but his name, if you go back down in the names, it was Max.
Max, where's Max? We gotta find you, Max. There it is, Maxim. Elia Baskin. Did you recognize? Look at that. Look at the...
From something with Robin Williams?
Look at this one.
Oh.
He was the landlord in Spider-Man.
Oh my god.
I spent 30 minutes of the film being like, I know this guy. I know, what is he from? And I'm sitting there the whole time, and I'm like, I'm not gonna look it up. I was forcing myself. I'm like, I'm not gonna look this up. I'm gonna remember what he's from. And then, there was a moment, he makes a joke to John Lithgow or something, and he just, makes that long, kind of face. And I'm just like, hey, the landlord in Spider-Man. Rent!
Your rent!
So funny. Him and Lithgow have some really good moments. I like their scenes where they're spacewalking together. That's another thing.
Oh my god, that was honestly one of the best space scenes I've ever seen.
It was pretty good, especially
I was
for the
so
80s.
Tense.
Yeah.
The whole time.
Yeah, 1984 has equal amounts of wonder about the spacecraft that, the original 2001 had, where it's 2001, 1968 or whatever. You're just like, how the fuck did you make this movie? It looks so beautiful. And then you see the spacewalk in this, and it's like, wow, that was really well done. The only thing I would complain about with the 1984 technology, in 2010, that is, the year we make Contact, the movie, not the year. The thing that bothered me was when the ships are moving, when you see machinery happening, it has that stop motion claymation effect, the CGI you would see in
smooth,
in the Terminator, when the Terminator's in the original Terminator, when it's moving and it has no skin anymore, it's just the robot. It has that kind of effect.
Yeah, it's before Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park's the guys who figured out how to do that.
I know, yeah. It is, but it's just that's the problem with that, is you don't have that in 2001: A Space Odyssey, because everything looks pristine and real in that movie. And then in this one, it has a bit of that CGI, 80s feel that mildly bothered me. Very mildly. I'm only bringing it up because I noticed it and I was just like, ooh, that looks bad. That was it. But that space scene, the spacewalk scene specifically with Elia Baskin as Maxim and John Lithgow as Walter, that's none of that. There probably is some that I just didn't care. That scene was really tense. I love John Lithgow's performance in that scene.
So good.
It's really good.
Yeah, and Maxim's great. Has great chemistry with him. It really does.
That's another beautiful thing about this movie is it's during the Cold War. When it was filmed, it was during the Cold War.
In fact, on the planet, there's some big bad stuff going on in South America, and is it Argentina?
I don't remember where. Yeah, I think it was.
It could be wrong, but anyways, it gets worse when they're gone.
Yeah, and Russia and U.S. are at each other's throats, and
officially at war.
Yeah, and you got these lone scientists, not astronauts. Some of them are astronauts.
Some of them are.
But most of them are scientists just stuck on a ship together, and they're like, well, what do we do? And I like that they explore that. I like that there's that politics, and it all stems from that John Lithgow and Elia Baskin scene, because it's that's the first moment where they start to think, maybe we can trust each other. Yeah. Maybe we can just be humans.
We have to survive out here.
And I love that scene for that. And I do like the politics.
Because that really is the moment. That they stop being adversarial towards each other.
At least those two.
Well, I think it goes for the entire crew too. There's really a couple more. There's a couple more scenes.
Yeah, it takes Helen Mirren a while to fully trust.
Yeah. Well, when they do that slingshot maneuver, it's very early in the thing. For some reason, to get to Europa, they have to sling around Jupiter, I think,
something like that,
to save fuel. And they're very, very scared. So this is even before that John Lithgow scene. And I don't remember who the crewman was with Applescheider, but
it was one of the ladies.
One of the ladies, but it might be Irina is the character.
That it is her.
It must be her.
Yeah.
So
Irina Yakunina.
Yeah,
and by Natasha Schneider.
And she, Scheider holds Schneider.
Oh my god, it's so cute.
So Scheider holds Schneider, and while they're doing this slingshot maneuver because it's never been done,
right?
And if the math is wrong, they're dead.
Yeah.
So everybody is rightfully freaking out, but Irina is freaking out in a corner by herself crying, and Haywood was trying to find. I cannot see him as anyone other than Roy.
I know, right? Yeah,
Roy Scheider. I'm sorry, Roy. He helps her through the moment, anyways, and he was looking for a corner himself. Yeah, he was looking for a corner to shit in himself.
Yeah,
so
it's a good moment, and it's like another thing I like that I feel like a lesser movie would have tried to pair him with somebody.
Right.
He has a family back home, and I really like that there's no romance between him and anybody else. No. That scene, again, a lesser movie might have they do kiss on the lips, but it's it's more of a
gave
fear.
Her a kiss. I thought the kiss was on the cheek.
Yeah, she kisses him, and I think it's just a small peck on right on the corner of his lips and his
cheek. It was
cheek.
very much a thank you, and who knows? Well, this is in an '80s movie, and they just wanted to see the beautiful woman kiss the man,
right?
But I was thinking when I watched it, maybe the culture around kissing is different in Russia. Who fucking knows?
I was worried that they were going to take it into a
little bit
a cheating scenario.
A little bit.
And I'm happy they didn't. I'm happy that and a lot of the narrative focus is him.
Would have nothing to do with 2001.
No, it wouldn't. And I mean, and that's another thing. Is this movie's it's not trying. It's just trying to provide answers,
right? And
that's where I have the issues with the movies that we get to is the answers they provide for some of it, specifically the ending. But I enjoy all the build up to it, especially they don't try to romanticize his relationships with people. He's a scientist trying to survive. I like that a lot, and then all the female characters. Well, I mean, specifically Helen Mirren's the only one. Natasha does have that moment, and then another moment, I think, but Helen becomes more of the more female,
right? She's the female character lead, for sure.
And I like her struggle to start to trust the Americans too, because she's more of legit Russian astronaut or cosmonaut. Yeah. That's who she is. She's more of the focused, and when the countries go to war, she's the one who's just all right, get off my fucking ship.
Right. Yeah, she does, but they're all following orders, and they go to the Discovery for a minute, and then boom da ba, David Bowman shows up. I don't know where boom da ba is. Somebody's got to look that up. Yeah. So he shows up. And it's the trippiest part of this movie, really.
Yeah.
There is none of the Kubrick filth to this movie.
No.
And like you said, it's just trying to provide answers to the other. And I say, if the other doesn't exist, this is a damn good movie.
That's fair.
So, he shows up to tell them they need to leave.
Yeah,
they need to leave now. You got 2 days, and they're like, we gotta wait till July or something.
We got weeks, man.
Yeah, and he's like, no, you gotta leave in 2 days. That's what they're telling you. And they find something on Europa too that is most likely alive. I won't spoil that.
Yeah, plant-like organism.
Plant-like organism, but they do see something move.
Yeah,
that's all I'll say about that.
Europa, if you don't know, being one of Jupiter's moons.
Thank you for explaining to them, because I am a layman in astrology, but that doesn't mean that I don't need to explain to people. So, I don't fucking know where I was going.
Oh, I'm so sorry I derailed you.
No, it's okay.
But yeah, like the answers, like
right.
what they discover, like what it all means. What are the monoliths?
And that's
like,
what I was trying to bring up Dave Bowman's character
right.
for. He brings about a lot of the answers.
Yeah.
I feel like.
And the one I didn't understand is why he has to go visit his mom or his wife or whatever.
It's his wife. Yeah,
I didn't understand that scene.
Later.
Like, I think it provides an answer, but like for the most part, I was just like, that could have been cut.
Right. That was one of the few things that made it feel more like it was supposed to be a sequel.
Yeah.
It was just really something to get her on the screen, I think.
Yeah, and to give him more time, I guess.
Maybe that could be it.
But like when Roy's talking to him, he's just constantly aging and de-aging and like a different not Roy but Dave Bowman is.
That's right.
And I like he really is a man unstuck from time, and I really did like that. I thought that was pretty cool, because there's like a moment where he's just a baby floating there, and that's where I realized too, where I was just like, maybe it's not a big baby, because he's just a tiny baby floating there in space like Mew.
Like
the Pokemon.
Now I'm never gonna unsee Mew as a fetus.
That's what he is. He's a discarded clone or whatever, you know.
Well, he's not a clone. He gets cloned.
That's right.
Yeah.
Where whatever. That movie's so I haven't seen it in so long.
We're gonna do a that playlist now. Pokemon
nice.
movie playlist.
I'm fucking down for that, man.
Yeah, that sounds great.
But I do really enjoy Dave's performance. Another part that I really like, the answer to Hal. They brought, as we mentioned earlier when we were talking 2001, they bring Hal back, and that's where you have Bob Balaban who tells them, hey, I looked into it. This is why it malfunctioned.
Right.
Because you guys fucked up. You gave it conflicting orders.
He blames Hayward at first because Hayward's name was on the orders.
Right.
But so it was some administrator over Haywood that did it.
Yeah, it was like he faked his name, maybe, or whatever. But I love, because when they get up there, when it gets to Discovery and you find Hal dismantled. Sorry, that's kind of spoilers for 2001. But like when he puts it back together, he does so slowly. He makes sure he like repairs everything, and he had this like wonderful moment with him and Hal, where it's just like he recognizes and sees this AI as another intelligent entity.
He does.
And he respects it. He knows it has emotion. And, like, you know, he created it. But it's really a nice moment between him and Howard. And then it's just like, you know, he's like, I love this thing. I created it. And then later on you get a little bit more tension where you, like, you know, you have Hal, again, being at the epitome of being chaos.
Yeah.
You know, where everybody's, like, worried, how's Hal going to respond to this? And then you have Bob Balaban interacting with it. And I love the outcome of that.
I do love the outcome of that. That was, I will say there is a redemption of Hal in this movie, hardcore. And I really do appreciate that. Because while he is on the evolutionary track to maybe become a technological, mass-produced society kind of thing.
Yeah.
But at this point in time, he is still a tool at a certain level.
Yeah.
He is programmed by somebody else.
Yeah.
And I really do appreciate that answer for Hal.
I do too. I thought it was really nice because, again, I see Hal as a villain in the first one.
Right.
And kind of not like an intentional villain. He's just a villain for, not for villain's sake, but just because that's where he was.
The intelligence was bad.
Yeah.
That's what it seemed like in the first movie. So
exactly.
I'm glad that got cleared up.
And I love a redemption arc, and I really enjoy Hal's. So that was another thing I loved about this movie. The thing I hated was the answer of the monoliths.
Yeah.
Because I don't, like, I fully believe that they're like an alien, you know, again, like an alien trying to guide us to a proper evolution.
Right.
And there is some of that in this. Because they are an alien race or species or whatever you want to call them. There's a shit ton of them. They basically are a black hole, is what they end up becoming when they're all together. There's that moment where they suck up Europa.
Really interesting.
Or Jupiter,
it's Jupiter. Like they are erupting from Jupiter, and this really is a spoiler. But I really want to talk about it. Should we put up a spoiler wall because it is the end of the movie,
or at least just tell people to? Yeah, we'll put up a spoiler wall. Yeah.
Okay, let's do that.
Hello, I don't got much time. Head to an hour 5 and you'll be just fine.
So we're behind the wall now, brick. And it's been a while since we did this.
I know, right?
So, anyhow, at the end of the movie, the monoliths, or whatever creatures are behind it, turn Jupiter into a small star.
Yeah. Its own sun.
Its own sun. So that the life on Europa, the small bit of life that was there, starts flourishing into a more, in Star Trek they'd say, M-class planet.
You fucking nerd, I love it. And they also broadcast this message.
Yes, they broadcast this message to the solar system. All these worlds are yours except Europa. Attempt no landing there. Use them together, use them in peace.
Yeah.
This message stops the war between Russia and the States. I think it's supposed to be the States. I think they say that. And because they're like, holy shit, we're 100% not alone.
Yeah.
But to me, it was so hopeful because they're like, okay, you guys you're successful as a race of spacefaring creatures. We're gonna start again here.
Yeah,
these are gonna be basically your little cousins. You guys can do with the rest of the rocks what you want.
The only thing that makes it seem not hopeful to me is the attempt no landing there. It's basically saying, hey, you guys can conquer whatever the fuck you want. Stay the fuck away from Europa.
Yes, it is a warning because they know their children.
They know we're conquerors.
But also, I feel like it's coming from, while they know us, they're nothing like us.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't understand how we might take this, but they need to be direct in what they want. So while it does come out as a warning, as ominous, it's just saying, let them develop how they're going to develop.
Right, and they have
it's basically
there to watch over them too.
Yes, that's true. But it's basically saying, do with them as we've done with you.
Yeah. Leave
them be, let them join later.
Yeah. I like that thought on it too. Like, it is nice. I don't know, it just seems weird. I don't know. I don't like the monoliths being like a big like alien race. I like it just being like, the big massive one outside Jupiter and then the tiny ones that we see on Earth. And like when you see that scene of them becoming a black hole and consuming Jupiter, it's goofy. Pretty goofy. It's just a bunch of like squares just like floating around. I'm just like, what is this? What is happening?
There's so many of them.
And that's the only thing is like the only thing I really just didn't like was just like the monoliths, like the whole answer for the monoliths, and like I don't know, it felt kind of underwhelming that they're just like there was no purpose to them, to humans anymore, because in this movie it's just like, all right, we're done with you, we got our own planet now. That was the build up. That's what we were doing all along, was we were getting you guys out here. I don't know why we were getting the people out to Discovery, why it shot the radio signal or anything. It's just for whatever reason, it was like, we're going to make a planet, we want you to know about it.
Right.
And like...
Maybe they also, before they started there, they wanted to make their presence known more.
Yeah.
And their power.
Yeah, that was the other thing.
Yeah.
That's why it doesn't feel very hopeful to me, is because it drew us as witnesses there to be like, witness us.
But it says,
stay the fuck
but
away.
The last part is, so if we cut out the part that says attempt no landing there,
right, then it seems hopeful.
Or even if you just take out all about the stuff about Europa out of it, it's all these rules are yours. Use them together. use them in peace.
Yeah. I like that.
It's a pretty generous message. Yeah. It's like, hey, they might, whatever these entities are, they don't require the same kind of nutrient sustenance and whatnot have you that we do.
Yeah, they can live right next to the sun.
Yeah, so they're not using this space. Baby sun. We can use it. Leave Europa to do the same.
Yeah,
to use their space.
Yeah, but I mean, also though, if you view it from it's a threatening point of view, use them together, use them in peace, could kind of sound like a threat. Also, where it's just like use them together, use them in peace. Or else.
Yeah, it does kind of feel that way.
You just saw that we can get rid of a planet and make a sun. Earth might make a mighty fine sun.
Okay, but... Alright, but science-wise, it was a ball of gas.
Right. That's true. That's true.
As far as we know. We're pretty certain. So, end of the episode. I decided. We're done with the wall.
You're right. Yeah, closing on 2010, I think it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the crap out of it. I didn't think I was going to.
Right.
Because I hadn't heard anything about it. But I really do enjoy it. I don't like the answers. I'm not going to consider it as a canonical sequel. I think as its
agree with that.
As its own thing, I love it.
Yeah.
And as its own thing following 2001, I still love it. But as a sequel, I'm just like, no. You know, you are somebody else's interpretation of the movie that I love.
Right.
And it doesn't harm that movie at all because I enjoy this guy's answers. Peter Hyam, great job. But, like, especially doing all the fuck that you did, because you did everything, except for editing. Somebody else did that. But, like, it's good. It is a really good movie. I give it 3.5 stars.
Nice. Yeah. It's a pretty damn good rating. I'm gonna give it another 4.5. I really enjoyed watching it. My wife really enjoyed watching it. She's of the same opinion of me. If 2001 didn't exist and this is what we had, it's a damn good movie.
Yeah.
Go watch the movie. If you like 2001 and you've been hesitant on 2010, just try to put it as a different thing. I think that's much a better way to approach it. Anyways.
Especially if you haven't like seen 2001 in a while, just watch 2010 then.
Right.
Come at it with a completely different, untainted perspective.
Yes. I like that.
Yeah. But in regards to a sequel smash, I feel like we talk about what sequel smash means all the time. Was it better? Was it needed? Right. That kind of stuff. It wasn't needed at all.
No.
It wasn't better at all, in my opinion.
I can agree. It wasn't better.
But as a sequel goes, like as I talked about earlier, it could ruin the viewing pleasure of the original, and this one just doesn't. This one is just totally its own thing.
Yeah.
That I really am happy I found out about.
Yeah, and I would definitely watch it again, especially the spacewalk part.
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah, that was such a good scene.
I mean, even just as a YouTube clip, I feel like I would watch that again because it's really well done, and like it tries to do the slow pace of the original, because like that's another thing I like about the original is it moves so slowly. But I don't give a damn because I'm immersed in the experience fucking well.
Super immersed. I feel like it's a little bit easier for some audience members to get immersed into a movie like 2010, though, rather than 2001.
Yeah, it is very much more straightforward. It has silly little narrative moments between where Roy Scheider is like writing in his diary.
Yeah, that's right.
No, he's writing
logs.
He's writing to his wife at times too.
Right.
Where,
that's right. And he even writes to Taliesin Jaffe or Christopher.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. And those are silly because it's just like exposition. Like this is what's going on. If, the Russians and Americans are fighting at home. But I'm just a scientist.
That's literally how one of the conversations goes.
Oh my gosh, it's a little silly. But that is the episode, I believe.
Yes,
definitely check out both of these movies. But 2001 wasn't going to be beat, at least not in my opinion.
It's a little bit closer for me, I think, but it can't beat the art that is involved in 2001.
So beautiful.
There's just so much for the audience to interpret, and I think that kind of a movie has a lot of merit. Not to say that 2010 has less merit.
Right.
and it's, I think, a little bit easier to get into. So it was hard for me, but I'm giving it to 2001.
Yeah.
End of the episode.
And I will say that if I ever get the home theater that I dream of, 2001 will be the first movie I play with the surround sound and everything. It'll be so lovely. And in the Lighthouse, like right after that, because like both of those are just beautifully made. Like I love cinema films. Like you could tell the people who made it was just like, I want to make something beautiful.
Let's make it beautiful.
And if Fight Club comes along, it's like I want to destroy something beautiful.
So that's your third movie.
No, I wouldn't. I do love Fight Club, but that wouldn't be my third one. I don't know what the third one would be. All right. That's the show. I've been the Green Traveler from Gorsh, I think.
And I think I have been the Faceless Leon. Let's see about it next week. Safe travels and good night. Green and Faceless on the Couch is a proud production of FictionWorks 19. Are you a fan of the show? Feel free to contact us at greenandfacelessfans@gmail.com or visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/greenandfaceless. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, or rate us on Apple Podcasts. Thank you so much for listening.